When I found the hotel receipt in Marcus's jacket pocket, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw his things out the window like women do in movies. I sat down at our kitchen table, smoothed out the crumpled paper, and read it 3 times. Room 1407 at the Pinnacle Hotel. Champagne. Strawberries. 2 bathrobes. The date was last Tuesday. The same Tuesday he told me he was working late on the Henderson account. I took a picture of the receipt with my phone. Then I put it back exactly where I found it, folded the jacket, and hung it in the closet. My hands were steady. My breathing was calm. Because in that moment, I made a decision. I wasn't going to be the crying wife. I wasn't going to beg him to stay or ask him why I wasn't enough. I was going to be smart. I was going to be strategic. And I was going to make sure that when this was over, I would be the one standing tall. My name is Naomi Richardson. I'm 34 years old, and I've been married to Marcus Richardson for 8 years. We met at a corporate networking event when I was 26. He was charming, ambitious, working his way up as a financial advisor. I was a marketing coordinator, fresh out of business school, trying to make my mark. He swept me off my feet with fancy dinners, weekend getaways, and promises of the life we'd build together. We got married 2 years later in a beautiful ceremony. His parents paid for most of it. Looking back now, I see that was the first red flag. They always treated me like I wasn't quite good enough for their son. Like I should be grateful he chose me. For the first few years, things were good. Marcus got promoted. I moved up in my career, eventually becoming marketing director at a mid-sized tech company. We bought a nice townhouse in a good neighborhood. We talked about starting a family. But somewhere around year 5, things changed. He started working later. He was always on his phone. He'd get defensive when I asked simple questions about his day. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself every marriage goes through rough patches. I told myself he was just stressed about work. Deep down, I think I knew. But I didn't want to admit it, because admitting it would mean facing the truth. And the truth was terrifying. That night, after I found the receipt, Marcus came home at 11. He kissed me on the cheek like always, told me he was exhausted, said the Henderson account was killing him. I smiled and asked if he wanted dinner. He said he'd grab something at the office. I nodded and went back to watching TV. He showered and went to bed. I sat in the living room until 1 in the morning, staring at the hotel receipt on my phone. Room 1407. Champagne. Strawberries. 2 bathrobes. The next morning, I called in sick to work. As soon as Marcus left, I went through everything. Every pocket, every drawer, every file on his laptop while he was in the shower. I found more. Credit card statements with charges at expensive restaurants I'd never been to. Jewelry purchases I'd never received. Hotel charges going back 6 months. All carefully hidden in a separate email account I found the password for in his desk drawer. He wasn't even smart about it. He kept everything in a folder labeled expense reports. I photographed everything, every receipt, every statement, every transaction. I uploaded them all to a cloud storage account he didn't know about. Then I put everything back exactly as it was. The charges told a story. Dinner at La Maison on February 14th, Valentine's Day. He told me he had to work late that night. I ate Chinese takeout alone. Another hotel charge in March. A jewelry purchase from Cartier for $3,000. I never got any jewelry from Cartier. The pattern was clear. He'd been seeing someone for at least 6 months, maybe longer. I wanted to know who she was. I needed to know. So I did what any woman in 2023 would do. I created a fake social media account and started searching. It didn't take long. Her name was Brittany Chun. She was 26, 8 years younger than me. She worked as a receptionist at Marcus's firm. Of course she did. The cliché was almost insulting. She had long dark hair, perfect makeup, and posted constantly about her fabulous life. Designer bags, fancy brunches, weekend trips. And there, buried in her photos from 3 weeks ago, was a picture of a champagne bottle with the caption, "Best night ever," with a heart emoji. The date matched one of the hotel charges. I sat there looking at her photos for an hour. She was beautiful, young, carefree, everything I wasn't anymore. For a moment, I felt the tears coming. But then I remembered something my grandmother used to tell me. She'd say, "Baby, pretty is common, smart is rare, and a smart woman will always win in the end." I closed the laptop and made myself a cup of tea. Then I started planning. I wasn't going to confront Marcus at home. I wasn't going to have a screaming match in our living room where he could twist things around and make me seem crazy. I wasn't going to give him the chance to lie to my face and beg for forgiveness. No, this was going to be public. This was going to be memorable. And this was going to hit him where it hurt most. His reputation. His pride. His precious image. I spent the next 2 weeks watching and waiting. I tracked his patterns. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd come home late. Those were his nights with her. I verified it by checking his location on the phone tracking app we'd set up years ago for safety. He never turned it off. Too confident. Too careless. On Tuesday nights, he went to her apartment in the Pearl District. On Thursdays, they met at hotels. Always different ones. Always expensive. He was spending our money on her. Our joint savings account had gone down by $15,000 in 6 months. Money I'd contributed to. Money I'd worked for. While I packed my lunch every day to save money, he was buying her designer handbags and champagne. But I didn't say anything. I played the perfect wife. I smiled when he came home. I asked about his day. I pretended everything was fine. And every night, after he fell asleep, I gathered more evidence. I photographed his phone while he was in the shower. I found text messages to her that made me sick. Messages about how boring his wife was. How he couldn't wait to leave me. How she was so much more exciting. How I'd gotten fat and let myself go. How I was too focused on my career. I read every word. And every word made me stronger. Made my resolve harder. Because this wasn't just about the affair anymore. This was about respect. This was about justice. I also did something else during those 2 weeks. I opened my own bank account at a different bank. I started transferring money from our joint savings. Not all of it. Just half. Exactly half. $7,500. It was my money too. I'd earned it. And I wasn't going to let him spend it all on his mistress. I also started keeping detailed records of our assets. The townhouse we'd bought together. The car in both our names. The furniture we'd purchased. I even went through our wedding gifts and made a list of who gave us what. Because if this was going to end, I was going to make sure I got exactly what I deserved. Not a penny less. Then I found out about the reservation. I was looking through his email one night while he slept. I found a confirmation for La Riviere, the most expensive French restaurant in the city. Reservations there had to be made months in advance. The confirmation was for next Friday night at 8. Table for 2. Under his name. He hadn't mentioned anything to me about going out to dinner, which meant this wasn't for us. This was for them. And that's when the plan came together. La Riviere wasn't just expensive. It was exclusive. The kind of place where business deals were made. Where the city's elite went to see and be seen. Where Marcus loved to take important clients to impress them. He'd taken me there once, 3 years ago, for our anniversary. He'd made a big show of it. Took pictures. Posted them on social media. Wanted everyone to know he could afford to eat at La Riviere. Perfect. I smiled in the dark. This was perfect. Because I was going to that dinner too. And I was going to make it a night Marcus Richardson would never forget. The next morning, I called La Riviere. I told them I was Marcus Richardson's wife. I said I wanted to surprise him with a special appearance at his business dinner on Friday. Could they possibly set up a table for me nearby where I could watch and then join them for dessert? The hostess thought it was incredibly romantic. She said she'd put me at a table with a clear view of his. She said she loved when wives surprised their husbands. I thanked her and hung up. Then I went to the mall. If this was going to be my moment, I was going to look spectacular. I spent $2,000 that day. $1,000 on a dress. Red silk that hugged every curve. The kind of dress that makes people stop and stare. $500 on shoes. Black Louboutin heels that made my legs look a mile long. $300 on jewelry. Gold earrings and a delicate necklace. $200 on hair and makeup. I went to the best salon in the city. Had them give me a completely new look. Highlights. A trim. A blowout that made my hair shine like in a commercial. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. I looked powerful, confident, expensive. I looked like a woman you didn't mess with. The woman I used to be before 8 years of marriage had slowly dimmed my light. The woman I was about to become again. Friday morning arrived. Marcus was in a good mood. He hummed while he got dressed. Told me he had a late meeting with a client. Wouldn't be home until after 10. I nodded. Said I'd probably just watch a movie and go to bed early. He kissed me on the forehead and left. I waited until his car pulled out of the driveway. Then I called my best friend, Janelle. Janelle and I had known each other since college. She was the only person I'd told about the affair. The only person who knew what I was planning. She was shocked when I first told her. Wanted to come over and slash his tires. I talked her down. Told her to trust me. That I had a better plan. It's happening tonight, I told her when she answered. Oh my God, are you sure you want to do this? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. What do you need from me? Just be on standby. I might need a place to stay tonight. You've got it. Go get him, girl. I spent the day getting ready. Long bath, face mask, nails. By 6 o'clock, I was transformed. The dress fit perfectly. The shoes made me stand tall. The jewelry caught the light. My makeup was flawless. My hair was perfect. I looked at myself in the full-length mirror. I looked like a woman on her way to take back her life. I took a picture and sent it to Janelle. She immediately called. Holy shit, Naomi. You look incredible. That's the plan. He's going to die when he sees you. That's what I'm counting on. I grabbed my clutch. Inside was my phone, my credit card, and a folder of printed documents. Bank statements, hotel receipts, credit card charges, text message screenshots. All the evidence I'd gathered over the past 2 weeks. Everything I needed to destroy him. I'd organized it chronologically, highlighted the important parts, made notes in the margins. It looked like something a lawyer would present in court, because that's probably where this was headed. I called an Uber. Didn't want to drive. Wanted to be able to have a drink. To stay completely calm. The driver's eyes went wide when he saw me. Told me I looked like I was going somewhere special. I smiled. Told him I was going to dinner with my husband. He said my husband was a lucky man. I didn't correct him. La Riviere was in the heart of downtown. Tall building. Beautiful facade. Valet parking. I'd been there once before, like I said. But tonight, walking through those doors, I felt different. I felt powerful. The hostess recognized me from our phone call. She smiled and winked. Told me my husband had just arrived 10 minutes ago. She led me to my table. It was perfect. Small. Intimate. In a corner with a perfect view of the main dining room. And there he was, Marcus, sitting at a table near the window. And across from him, wearing a tight black dress that showed way too much cleavage, was Brittany. She was laughing at something he said. He was leaning forward, holding her hand across the table. They looked like a couple in love. Like they belonged together. Like I didn't exist. The hostess seated me. Asked if I wanted to order a drink while I waited. I ordered a glass of red wine. Top shelf. Might as well. Marcus was paying for it. She brought it quickly. I took a sip and watched them. They were so absorbed in each other they didn't even notice me. Marcus was animated, smiling, more relaxed than I'd seen him in years. Brittany kept touching his arm, giggling at everything he said. At one point, he kissed her hand. Right there in public. In a restaurant where half the people probably knew him. Where people from his office might be. He didn't care. He thought he was untouchable. He thought no one would ever know. He thought I was at home, sitting on the couch, watching TV, oblivious. The waiter came to their table. They ordered champagne. Of course, probably the same expensive kind he'd ordered at all those hotels. The waiter poured. They clinked glasses. Marcus said something that made her laugh, so hard she almost spit out her drink. My stomach twisted, but I didn't look away. I watched every second. Let the anger build. Let it fuel me. The waiter came to my table. Asked if I was ready to order. I said not yet. That I was waiting for someone. He nodded and left. I took another sip of wine. It was time. I stood up, smoothed down my dress, took a deep breath, picked up my clutch with all my evidence inside, and I walked, slowly, deliberately, across the dining room. My heels clicked on the marble floor. People turned to look. I felt their eyes, felt the weight of the moment. This was it. 8 years of marriage, coming to an end, in front of everyone. Marcus had his back to me. Brittany was facing me but wasn't paying attention, too busy gazing at him. I walked right up to their table. Stopped. They didn't notice me at first. Then Brittany's eyes shifted, locked on mine. Her smile faded. Confusion crossed her face. Marcus noticed her expression change, started to turn around, and then he saw me. The color drained from his face. His mouth fell open. His hand, still holding Brittany's, went rigid. For a second, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The entire restaurant seemed to go quiet. Then I smiled. The kind of smile that doesn't reach your eyes. "Hello, Marcus," I said. My voice was calm, steady. "Fancy seeing you here." He tried to pull his hand away from Brittany's, but she was frozen, confused, looking between the two of us. "Naomi," he stammered. "What are you doing here?" "Having dinner," I said. I turned to Brittany, extended my hand. "Hi, I'm Naomi, Marcus's wife, and you must be Brittany. I've heard so much about you." Brittany turned white. She looked at Marcus. He looked like he was about to have a heart attack. "Wife," she whispered. "Oh," I said. "He didn't tell you he was married? How surprising." Marcus stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. Loud. Everyone in the restaurant was definitely watching now. "Naomi, this isn't what it looks like. Let me explain." "Explain?" I tilted my head. "Please, explain. I'd love to hear this." He was sweating now. Actually sweating. "This is just a business dinner. Brittany works at my firm. We were discussing a client." "Really?" I opened my clutch, pulled out the folder of documents. "Is that what you call it?" "Because I call it adultery. But maybe I'm old-fashioned." I dropped the folder on the table. Paper spilled out. Hotel receipts, restaurant bills, text message screenshots, bank statements showing withdrawals from our joint account, jewelry purchases from Cartier. All of it. Right there for both of them to see. Brittany gasped, picked up one of the text messages. It was one where Marcus told her he couldn't wait to divorce me, that I was boring, that she was so much better. She read it. Her face went from white to green. She looked at Marcus with something between horror and disgust. "You told me you were separated," she said. Her voice shook. "You told me your wife knew, that you were just waiting for the divorce to be finalized." Marcus reached for the papers, tried to gather them up, but I was faster. I grabbed them back. "Don't touch these. These are my copies. I have plenty more." "You lied to me?" Brittany stood up now. Her voice was getting louder. People were definitely staring. Some had their phones out. "You said you were getting divorced. You said she knew. You said it was amicable." "Brittany, please let me explain." "Explain what?" She was almost yelling now. "That you're a liar? That you've been using me? That you spent all that money on me while your wife had no idea?" A manager appeared. A thin man in a crisp suit. "Is everything all right here?" "Everything's perfect," I said. I smiled at him. Just having a conversation with my husband and his mistress. Nothing to worry about. The manager looked uncomfortable. "Perhaps we could move this conversation somewhere more private?" "No," I said. "I think we're fine right here. Unless my husband would like to make a scene." I looked at Marcus. He was completely frozen. Didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to say. This wasn't how he'd imagined his romantic dinner going. "No." I continued. "Good. Then I'll just say what I came here to say and leave you two to enjoy your meal." I turned to face the whole dining room. Half the restaurant was watching us. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disruption, but I wanted to share something with you all. You see, this man right here is my husband. We've been married for 8 years, and this young lady is his co-worker. They've been having an affair for at least 6 months, during which time he's spent $15,000 of our joint savings on her. He's bought her designer handbags, expensive jewelry, hotel rooms, fancy dinners, all while telling me we needed to save money because times were tight." Marcus tried to grab my arm. "Naomi, stop. You're embarrassing yourself." I pulled away. "I'm embarrassing myself? That's rich coming from the man who's been sleeping with his receptionist. She's not my receptionist. She's an administrative assistant. Oh, I'm so sorry. How could I make such a terrible mistake? The sarcasm dripped from every word. Brittany was crying now, mascara running down her face. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know he was still married. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered the text messages. The ones where she called me old and boring. Where she laughed about Marcus complaining about me. No. She knew. Maybe not everything. But she knew enough. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I looked at Marcus. I'm filing for divorce on Monday. I have copies of all of this evidence. Every hotel charge. Every dinner. Every piece of jewelry you bought for her. I have text messages where you talk about leaving me. Where you insult me. Where you make plans with her. I have bank records showing you drained our savings. And I have a very good lawyer who's already reviewed everything. You've been spying on me? His face was red now. Angry. Going through my phone? My emails? That's illegal. Actually, I said, in this state it's not. We're a one-party consent state, which means I can record conversations and gather evidence without your knowledge. My lawyer confirmed it. So all of this is completely admissible in divorce court. The manager tried again. Ma'am, I really think we should move this conversation. I'm almost done, I said. I looked at Marcus one more time. You destroyed our marriage. You lied to me for months. You stole from me. You humiliated me. But you know what the best part is? You're the one who's going to look like the fool. Because everyone here is going to remember this night. Everyone at your office is going to hear about this. Your clients, your boss, your parents, everyone. And they're all going to know what kind of man you really are. I picked up my clutch, adjusted my dress. Oh, and one more thing. I transferred half the savings to my own account 2 weeks ago. $7,500. My half. The other half? You spent it on her. So good luck explaining that to your lawyer. And to the judge. I turned to Brittany. Good luck with him. You're welcome to keep him. Just know that if he'll cheat with you, he'll cheat on you. But I'm sure you'll figure that out eventually. Then I walked away. Head high. Back straight. Heels clicking on that marble floor. Behind me, I heard Brittany screaming at Marcus. Heard him trying to calm her down. Heard the manager asking them to leave. I didn't look back. I walked straight to the exit. The hostess looked at me with wide eyes. I handed her my credit card. I'd like to pay for my glass of wine, please. She ran the card. Handed it back. I'm so sorry for what happened. Don't be, I said. I'm not. And I meant it. For the first time in weeks, I felt free. The air outside was cool. Clean. I stood on the sidewalk and breathed it in. My phone buzzed. Text from Janelle. How'd it go? I typed back. Better than I could have imagined. Another text. Need that place to stay? Yes, please. Doors unlocked. Wine's in the fridge. I'll be home in an hour. I called an Uber. Different driver this time. Older woman. She looked at me in the rearview mirror. Rough night. Actually, I said, best night I've had in a long time. She smiled. Good for you, honey. Good for you. Janelle's apartment was in Midtown. Small but cozy. She'd left a key under the mat. Inside, there was a note on the counter. Wine in fridge. Ice cream in freezer. Pizza on the way. You're a rock star. I kicked off my heels, poured a large glass of wine, and I sat on her couch and finally let myself process what had just happened. I'd done it. I'd actually done it. I'd confronted Marcus in the most public, humiliating way possible. I'd destroyed his perfect image. I'd shown everyone who he really was, and it felt amazing. My phone started blowing up. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Apparently, someone at the restaurant had recorded the whole thing, posted it online. It was already going viral. I watched the video, saw myself walk up to their table, saw Marcus's face when he realized I was there, saw Brittany's horror when she learned the truth, saw me drop those papers on the table, heard my speech to the entire restaurant. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. Good for her. What a queen. This is how you handle a cheater. She looks amazing and he looks pathetic. There were a few nasty ones. People calling me crazy, saying I should have handled it privately. But I didn't care. Let them talk. I knew the truth. And the truth was that Marcus had spent months humiliating me in private, lying to me, stealing from me, making me feel like I wasn't enough. So he deserved to be humiliated in public. Janelle came home an hour later with pizza and more wine. She threw her arms around me. Oh my God, Naomi. I saw the video. Everyone's seen the video. You're viral. I know. It's insane. Are you okay? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, I said. I really am. We ate pizza and drank wine and watched the video over and over. Janelle kept pausing it to point out details. Marcus's face. Brittany's reaction. The shocked expressions of the other diners. You're my hero, she said. Seriously, most women would have just cried and taken him back. But you made sure he'll never forget this. He won't, I agreed. But more importantly, I won't forget it either. I won't forget that I'm strong enough to do this, to stand up for myself, to demand better. My phone rang. It was Marcus. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. 15 times in a row. Finally, I answered. What do you want, Marcus? Where are you? None of your business. You made a scene. You humiliated me in front of everyone. Yes, I did. And that was completely uncalled for. We could have talked about this like adults. I laughed. Actually laughed. Like adults? You mean like the adult conversations you had with Brittany in hotel rooms? Or the adult way you handled our marriage by cheating for 6 months? I wasn't cheating. It was complicated. No, Marcus. It's not complicated. You're just a liar. Silence. Then his voice got mean. You're going to regret this. I'll make sure you get nothing in the divorce. Really? Because I have a folder full of evidence that says otherwise, including proof that you spent $15,000 of our joint savings on your mistress. That's called dissipation of marital assets. And judges don't like that. You're bluffing. Try me. I hung up. He called back immediately. I blocked his number. Janelle was staring at me. Damn. Who are you and what did you do with my friend? This is who I've always been, I said. I just forgot for a while. That night, I barely slept. Not because I was upset, but because I was wired, energized, free. I kept checking social media. The video had hundreds of thousands of views now. News sites were picking it up. Woman confronts cheating husband at fancy restaurant. Wife's epic revenge goes viral. This is how you handle a cheating spouse. My phone didn't stop buzzing. Messages of support. Interview requests from morning shows. People sharing their own stories of being cheated on. It was overwhelming, but also empowering, because I realized I wasn't just standing up for myself. I was standing up for everyone who'd ever been betrayed. Monday morning, I went to see my lawyer. Her name was Patricia Chun. 50-something, sharp as a tack, with a reputation for destroying cheating spouses in court. I'd found her 2 weeks ago. Gave her all my evidence. She'd called it a slam dunk. Now, sitting in her office, she pulled out a thick document. I've prepared the divorce petition, she said. Based on the evidence you provided, we're asking for an unequal division of assets due to his dissipation of marital funds. We're also asking for full reimbursement of the $15,000 he spent on his affair, plus attorney's fees. Will I get it? Oh, honey, you'll get it and more. With this evidence, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. She slid the papers across her desk. Sign here, here, and here. I signed. Each signature felt like freedom. When will he be served? Today. I've arranged for a process server to deliver them to his office, right in front of his co-workers. I smiled. You're vicious. I like that. She winked. I learned from the best. By the way, you might want to prepare yourself. This is going to get ugly. He's going to try to paint you as the crazy wife. He's going to say you're vindictive, that you trapped him, that you ruined his life. Let him try. I have evidence. He has lies. Exactly. But still, steel yourself. Divorces bring out the worst in people. She was right. Over the next few weeks, Marcus unleashed hell. He hired his own lawyer, an expensive shark named David Kleinman. They immediately filed a counterpetition, claimed I'd stolen money from him, that I'd violated his privacy. that I defamed him by going public with the affair. They asked for half of everything, including the money I'd transferred to my own account. But Patricia was ready. She filed a motion for temporary orders, requested exclusive use of the townhouse, requested Marcus pay all the mortgage and utilities until the divorce was final, requested he reimburse the marital estate for all money spent on the affair. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. I showed up in a navy suit, hair pulled back, minimal makeup, looking professional and credible. Marcus showed up in an expensive suit, flanked by his lawyer. He wouldn't look at me. The judge was a woman in her 60s named Judge Martinez. She'd been on the bench for 20 years, had a reputation for being fair but tough. She reviewed our filings, asked a few questions, then asked to see the evidence. Patricia handed her the folder. The judge spent 20 minutes going through it, looking at hotel receipts, credit card statements, text messages, bank records. Finally, she looked up. "Mr. Richardson, is this evidence accurate?" Marcus's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, we dispute the authenticity of some of these documents." "Which ones?" He hesitated. "The text messages, Your Honor. There's no way to verify they're real." The judge turned to me. "Mrs. Richardson, how did you obtain these text messages?" "I photographed them from my husband's phone, Your Honor." "Did you have permission to access his phone?" "We've always had an open phone policy in our marriage, Your Honor. We knew each other's passcodes for emergencies." The judge nodded. "And the credit card statements? The bank records?" "Those are from our joint accounts, Your Honor. Accounts I had equal access to as his spouse." "And the hotel receipts?" "I found those in his jacket pocket, Your Honor." Judge Martinez looked at Marcus. "Mr. Richardson, do you dispute that you had an affair with a Miss Brittany Chun?" Marcus stood. "Your Honor, my relationship with Miss Chun began after my wife and I were emotionally separated." "Emotionally separated? Were you physically separated? Did you and your wife discuss divorce before this affair began?" "No, Your Honor, but our marriage was over." "I see. And did you inform your wife of this fact?" Marcus didn't answer. The judge continued. "And these expenditures, $15,000 from joint marital accounts, do you dispute these?" "Your Honor, I was earning that money. I had a right to spend it." "On your mistress? While still living with your wife? While your wife believed you were faithfully married?" Silence. The judge sat back. "Here's what I'm going to order. Mrs. Richardson will have exclusive use of the marital home until this matter is resolved. Mr. Richardson will pay the mortgage, utilities, and HOA fees. Mr. Richardson will also reimburse the marital estate for all funds spent on the affair. That's $15,000, to be paid within 30 days. Marcus's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, that's excessive." "No, counselor. What's excessive is your client spending $15,000 of marital funds on his girlfriend. This is called dissipation of marital assets, and I will not tolerate it." "My order stands." I wanted to cheer. Patricia squeezed my hand under the table. The judge continued. "Additionally, I'm ordering that both parties refrain from harassment or defamation of each other pending final resolution. That includes social media posts. That includes talking to the press. Do you both understand?" We both nodded. "Good. We'll reconvene in 60 days for the final hearing. Until then, follow my orders." Dismissed. Walking out of that courtroom felt like winning the lottery. Marcus stormed past me without a word. But I didn't care. I'd won. The judge had believed me, had sided with me, had made him pay. Literally. Patricia took me to lunch to celebrate. "You did great in there," she said. Calm, credible, honest. The judge ate it up. "What happens now?" "Now we prepare for the final hearing. We'll request an unequal distribution of assets. We'll argue that because he dissipated marital funds, he should get less than half. We'll also argue for attorney's fees because his conduct caused this divorce. Will I get the house? Probably not. It'll likely be sold and the proceeds split. But with the reimbursement of the $15,000, plus my argument for unequal distribution, you should walk away with more than him." "Good. That's all I want. What I deserve. Not a penny less." "You'll get it. I promise." The next 60 days were strange. I lived alone in our townhouse. Marcus moved in with a friend. We communicated only through lawyers. He paid the mortgage and bills like the judge ordered. He also begrudgingly paid the $15,000 reimbursement. Patricia deposited it directly into my separate account. That money felt like vindication, like proof that I was right, that he was wrong, that justice existed. But the hardest part wasn't the legal stuff. It was the social fallout. Marcus's family blamed me entirely. His mother called me a vengeful woman, said I'd ruined her son's life over a small mistake. His father said I should have handled it privately, that airing dirty laundry in public was classless. His sister posted on social media about how affairs happen because marriages are dead, that I probably drove him into another woman's arms. It hurt, even though I knew they were wrong, even though I knew they were just protecting him. It still hurt, but my family and friends rallied around me. My mother flew in from Detroit, stayed with me for a week, cooked my favorite meals, let me cry when I needed to, told me I'd done nothing wrong, that Marcus's choices were his own. My father called and told me he'd always thought Marcus was too slick, too charming, that he'd never quite trusted him. Janelle practically moved in. We had wine nights, movie marathons, long talks about everything and nothing. She helped me see that this wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. And slowly, I started to believe her. Work was awkward at first. Everyone had seen the video. Some people were supportive. Others were gossipy. I heard whispers in the break room. Saw people quickly close their browsers when I walked by. But I held my head high. Did my job. Excelled at my job. My boss called me into her office one day. I was nervous. Thought maybe she was going to say something about the video, about it affecting the company's image. Instead, she said, "I want you to know I think you handled a terrible situation with grace. And I want you to know your job is safe. We value you here." I almost cried. "Thank you. That means everything. We're also promoting you. Senior Marketing Director. 20% raise. You've earned it." I left her office in shock. A promotion. A raise. Things were actually getting better. The final divorce hearing was on a Tuesday in December, exactly 3 months after that night at La Riviere. I dressed in a charcoal suit. Patricia met me outside the courtroom. Ready, as I'll ever be. Remember, stay calm. Answer questions honestly. Don't let him get under your skin. Marcus was already inside. So was his lawyer. And so was Brittany. She was sitting in the gallery. Apparently, they were still together. Part of me felt sorry for her. Part of me thought she deserved what she got. Judge Martinez took the bench. "Let's get started. I've reviewed both parties' financial affidavits. I've reviewed the evidence. I've considered the arguments. Here's what I'm ordering." She went through it methodically. The townhouse would be sold. Proceeds split 60-40. I got the 60% because of his dissipation of marital funds. The cars would be divided. I got the newer one. Retirement accounts split 50-50. But I was reimbursed for my half of the $15,000 he'd spent. So, essentially, I got everything I contributed plus more. Marcus's face got redder and redder as she talked. His lawyer tried to object a few times, but the judge shut him down. "Your client spent marital funds on an extramarital affair. That has consequences. He's lucky I'm not ordering an even more unequal distribution." Finally, she got to the end. Marriage dissolved. Both parties free to remarry. Judgment entered today. Any questions? Marcus's lawyer started to speak, but Marcus put a hand on his arm, shook his head. He was done fighting, because he knew he'd lost. We walked out of that courthouse into the winter sunshine. Patricia hugged me. "Congratulations. You're officially divorced, and you're about to be significantly richer. Thank you for everything." "My pleasure." This was one of the most satisfying cases I've ever had. I walked to my car, got in, sat there for a minute, and then I cried. Not sad tears, relief tears. It was over, really over. I was free. That night, Janelle threw me a divorce party. Small, just close friends. We drank champagne, ate cake, laughed about everything that had happened. Someone made a joke about me becoming famous for the restaurant confrontation. Someone else said I should write a book. We laughed. but part of me thought maybe I should. Maybe my story could help someone else. The townhouse sold in January for more than we expected. I walked away with $200,000, enough for a down payment on my own place. A fresh start. I found a condo downtown. Modern. Bright. All mine. I decorated it exactly how I wanted. Bought new furniture. New dishes. New everything. No reminders of Marcus. No shared memories. Just me and my new life. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I was thriving. The promotion at work meant more money and more responsibility. I was traveling for business, meeting new people, feeling confident again. I'd started dating. Nothing serious, just putting myself out there, remembering what it felt like to be desired, to be interesting, to be enough. One day, I ran into Brittany at the mall. She looked different, thinner, tired, less polished. She saw me and tried to walk the other way, but I called out to her, "Brittany, wait." She stopped, turned slowly. "Hi. Hi. How are you?" She laughed bitterly. "How do you think? Still with Marcus? We broke up 3 months ago. Turns out he was cheating on me too, with his new secretary. Funny how that works. I should have felt satisfaction, but I just felt sad. I'm sorry. No, you're not. Actually, I am. No one deserves to be cheated on. Not even you." She looked at me with tears in her eyes. "I didn't know. I really didn't know he was still living with you. He told me you were separated, that you knew about me, that it was all fine. I believe you. He's a good liar. I'm sorry. For everything. For my part in it." I nodded. "Thank you. That means something. You look good. Happy. I am happy. Happier than I've been in years. I'm glad. You deserve it." She walked away, and I felt a weight lift. I didn't need to hate her anymore. She'd been lied to just like me. And now she knew what kind of man Marcus really was. The universe had a way of balancing things out. A year after that night at La Riviere, I was at a work conference. Networking event at a hotel bar. That's where I met Daniel. He was an IT consultant. Smart. Funny. Kind. We talked for hours. Exchanged numbers. Started dating. He knew about Marcus. About the viral video. About everything. And he didn't care. He said it showed strength. That I'd refuse to be a victim. We've been together for 6 months now. It's easy. Uncomplicated. He treats me like I matter. Like I'm valuable. Like I'm enough. We talk about the future sometimes. Marriage maybe. Kids maybe. But there's no rush. I'm in no hurry to make that commitment again. Not until I'm absolutely sure. But for now, I'm just enjoying being happy. Being free. Being me. Sometimes I think about that night at La Riviere. About walking across that restaurant in my red dress. About the look on Marcus's face. About finally standing up for myself. And I smile. Because that night changed everything. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my power. My dignity. My life. It was about refusing to be treated like I didn't matter. And in the end, that's what this whole story is about. Not about Marcus and his affair. Not about Brittany and her mistakes. But about me. About finding my strength. About choosing myself. To anyone reading this who's been cheated on, who's been betrayed, who's been made to feel small, I want you to know something. You are enough. You always have been. The problem was never you. It was them. Their lack of integrity. Their selfishness. Their cruelty. You deserve better. And you have the power to demand it. Maybe your revenge won't be at a fancy restaurant. Maybe it'll be quieter. Private. But it should be yours. On your terms. In your way. Stand up. Speak out. Don't let anyone treat you like you don't matter. Because you do matter. You matter so much. Did you like this story? Let me know what city you're listening from in the comments. And if this resonated with you, please hit subscribe. I share new life stories every single day. Stories about finding strength, about getting justice, about becoming who you were always meant to be. Thank you for listening. And remember, the best revenge isn't destroying someone else. It's building yourself up, living well, being happy. That's what really wins in the end.